Verstappen is upset at Red Bull's lack of pace. Norris reacts to Oscar's dominant victory, and Ferrari needs more upgrades to catch McLaren. Do consider subbing. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Max Verstappen faced a challenging weekend at the Bahrain Grand Prix, culminating in his lowest finishing position of the season with a disappointing P6. It was a stark contrast to his previous victory just a week prior, leaving fans and commentators questioning what went wrong. Verstappen reflected on the race, expressing frustration that everything that could go wrong did go wrong. The complexity of the Bahrain circuit amplified issues with balance and pit stops, which kept him from competing for the top positions. Despite the team's hopeful momentum from their previous win in Suzuka, Red Bull struggled to regain their footing, with both drivers having a difficult time throughout the event. During qualifying, Verstappen found himself in 7th, while his competitor Lando Norris managed to climb to 3rd. In the race, Verstappen only gained 1 position, a far cry from what was expected from the reigning champion. After the event, he shared his thoughts with media, maintaining a calm demeanor, yet expressing serious concerns about the performance of the RB21. He didn't hold back in his assessment, stating, "The pace was very bad." He acknowledged that, considering the circumstances, finishing in P6 might have been the maximum achievable for the team on that day. Verstappen highlighted the importance of balance on the track and noted that poorer tire management made the situation even more challenging, especially in Bahrain. As he analyzed the difficulties, he mentioned the car's performance on tires, indicating that it felt even worse this season compared to last. Verstappen's honest feedback pointed to a complicated trajectory for Red Bull as they adapt to the evolving demands of racing. Ironically, improvements made by other teams have put extra pressure on them, as Verstappen remarked on how they appeared to have a worse weekend than the previous year, despite their capabilities. The reigning world champion, now trailing Norris by 8 points, refrained from assigning blame for their struggles, but raised questions about whether Red Bull's approach to addressing these performance issues reflected an urgency that matched the intensity of competition they faced. Verstappen's reflections reveal the high stakes of Formula One, where the line between winning and losing can come down to minor adjustments and the relentless pursuit of peak performance. As they look toward future races, both Verstappen and Red Bull face the challenge of turning this setback into a stepping stone for success in the season ahead. Moving beyond the Bahrain Grand Prix, drivers are already reflecting on their experiences and the lessons learned. George Russell, reeling from the race, shared his thoughts. "I'm okay. It is what it is," he said, emphasizing the importance of resilience in the face of disappointing outcomes. "You just have to move on," he added, a sentiment that resonates deeply within the competitive world of Formula One. Speaking of Russell, the DRS issues he faced could potentially lead to penalties, highlighting the ongoing challenges even top drivers encounter. Meanwhile, Lando Norris had a friendly exchange with Russell after his impressive victory, reassuring the team spirit that thrives within the competition. Norris noted, "We keep discussing, keep trying to improve, recognizing that winning doesn't eliminate the need for constant progress." However, it wasn't just Russell feeling the pressure. Red Bull experienced a chaotic pit stop during the race, where the malfunction of their signaling board led to delays. Max Verstappen candidly described these incidents as not to our standards, revealing how even the best teams face hiccups that can compromise performance. Following these frustrating moments, discussions have popped up around the regulations, especially concerning Lando Norris. Verstappen, known for his keen eye, pointed out what he considered a questionable maneuver by Norris during the race, adding an extra layer of intensity to their rivalry off the track. Looking ahead, fans are curious to see where current F1 stars rank among the all-time greats. The all-time points leaderboard features legends like Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen, and Fernando Alonso. It's fascinating to see where these modern-day gladiators fit into the history of the sport. Amidst all this analysis, one thing remains clear. The competition is fierce, not just on the racetrack, but also in the annals of Formula One history. The records for race wins are fiercely contested, with strategists and drivers alike understanding that each point can define their legacy. As we turn to the future, the quest for speed and strategy continues in Formula One, with every team eyeing the prize while navigating the challenges and triumphs of racing life. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc recently expressed his disappointment after narrowly missing out on a podium finish at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Starting the race in second position, expectations were high for Leclerc. Unfortunately, his hopes were dashed when George Russell overtook him early on, followed by Lando Norris in the later stages of the race. The 2023 season has been challenging for Leclerc and the Ferrari team. As they face tough competition from McLaren, Mercedes, and reigning champion Max Verstappen, it has become clear that Ferrari is struggling to keep pace. After a somewhat promising qualifying, Leclerc quickly found himself on the back foot during the race, losing crucial positions that would hinder his performance. This season's struggles were evident from the very first lap when Leclerc lost ground to Russell. He was then forced to fend off Norris, who was right behind him. Even with a 5-second penalty awarded to Norris for a false start, Leclerc's fortunes didn't significantly improve, as he ultimately surrendered that position as the race neared its close. After the race, Leclerc candidly spoke to the media, saying, "We're just not fast enough." He emphasized the team's performance flaws, stating that they could analyze their situation from multiple angles, but the race pace simply wasn't there. Leclerc indicated that while they had pushed hard in the first stint, the second stint saw them struggling with tire degradation, which compounded their issues significantly. As the race reached its climax, Leclerc found himself in similar conditions as his competitors, but expressed frustration at the lack of competitive pace compared to others on the track. "When the pace is missing, whatever strategy you do, you're always on the wrong side of things," he lamented. Even the timing of the safety car didn't play in Leclerc's favor, as he had fresher tires than those competing around him. However, he was realistic, acknowledging that even with the optimal tires, it might not have made a significant difference in the overall outcome of the race. As fans and followers of Formula One, many are left wondering how Ferrari will tackle these challenges moving forward. The upcoming races will be critical for Leclerc and his team to reclaim their competitive edge in a rapidly evolving season. Max Verstappen had a tough day at the Bahrain GP, and the challenges were not just for him. George Russell addressed a concerning issue with the DRS, stating it could potentially land him a penalty. He explained that while the race didn't change drastically, the difficulty he faced was compounded by overheating tires during critical moments. This led to a missed opportunity to push rivals like George to make strategic changes. Despite their efforts, Charles Leclerc of Ferrari admitted the team wasn't performing at their best. He expressed a bit of relief when reflecting on their decisions during the race, recognizing that they might have fallen short against competitors like Russell, who managed to maintain tire performance throughout the event. Leclerc downplayed the significance of potential mistakes, asserting that they would review their strategies and focus on improvement, but did not believe those factors were decisive in their performance. Across the paddock, questions arose about Ferrari's overall issues. The team's untelevised radio messages hinted at deeper concerns, as their poor start to the season remained evident. Leclerc, while acknowledging comments from Lewis Hamilton regarding Ferrari's upgrades, stated that they weren't sufficient to close the competitive gap. Hamilton, too, discussed the challenges he faced, declaring that his Ferrari was operating at a deficit during their race at Suzuka. This statement has led to further scrutiny of Ferrari's capabilities and the urgent need for enhancements as they move forward. Amid these discussions, pundits, including Martin Brundle, voiced the need for Ferrari to step up, especially as they look to regain their form and compete effectively. In an ever-evolving sport like F1, drivers and teams must continuously innovate and adapt. The upcoming races will test their resolve as Ferrari seeks to leverage their upgrades and feedback to turn this season around. Fans will be watching closely to see how quickly Leclerc, Hamilton, Dralton, and the rest can respond to these pressing challenges. Stay tuned for more updates as we follow the thrilling journey of this season in Formula One. Lando Norris had a lighthearted yet competitive exchange with George Russell after the Bahrain Grand Prix, where McLaren's Oscar Piastri secured a stunning victory. Norris jokingly remarked that it would have been nice if Russell had made a bolder attempt to challenge Piastri for the lead. This playful banter unfolded in the cooldown room just before the podium ceremony, where Piastri celebrated his second win of the F1 2025 season. Piastri's performance was nothing short of spectacular. From pole position, he dominated the race, showcasing his skills and reducing the gap between him and his teammate Norris in the World Championship standings. Norris, on the other hand, had a challenging qualifying session, starting 6th but making a strong comeback to finish 3rd. Meanwhile, Russell, in a Mercedes, secured his spot on the podium for the 3rd time in 4 races, showcasing the intense competition among the drivers. As the drivers prepared for the podium, they were shown a highlights reel of the race that reminded them of the day's exciting moments. Norris couldn't resist making a cheeky comment about Piastri's commanding 14.499-second win, highlighting the playful atmosphere among the racers even in their competitive spirit. During the highlights, Piastri joined in the fun, jokingly asking Norris what Russell meant when he asked about overtaking Hamilton. Norris's retort was lighthearted, noting especially how far ahead Piastri had been during the race, bringing laughter to the group. Norris's race wasn't without its challenges. A notable moment came during the safety car restart when he faced a sudden attack from the Ferraris driven by Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, causing him to temporarily drop to 5th place. Norris's self-deprecating humor shone through during this moment as he exclaimed, "What? A Muppet, who's that?" after experiencing a lockup at turn 1. Once he managed to overtake Leclerc at turn 4, Russell, still battling technical issues in his Mercedes, praised Norris's move. Despite his struggles with gear problems, Russell remained in the fight, defending aggressively against Norris in the closing laps. The tension of the race heightened when Norris attempted a daring move at turn 1 on the final lap, but Russell held his ground, showcasing just how fierce and competitive the racing was. The camaraderie among the drivers was clear, and this engaging back and forth between Norris and Russell emphasized not only their competitive nature, but also their friendship. As the podium celebrations unfolded, it was evident that this race, marked by both challenge and laughter, would be remembered not just for Piastri's win, but for how the drivers connected off the track as well. As the season progresses, fans can expect plenty more thrilling races and interactions, making the 2025 F1 season one to watch closely. As the conversation wrapped up, it was clear that Lando Norris was not one to shy away from some friendly banter. When asked about the on-track performance of Oscar Piastri, Norris jokingly remarked, "Who's that? That's boring. He's all on his own." This lighthearted comment reflected his playful nature, even when discussing competition. Meanwhile, George Russell chimed in from the sidelines, noting that Piastri was 16 seconds ahead and was rather comfortable on the track, essentially cruising. This revelation brought forth more reactions from Norris, who didn't miss a beat when Russell admitted he had considered making a move on Piastri during the safety car restart. Norris quipped that he would have cheered on any attempt from Russell, especially considering the looming rivalry in the title fight for 2025 between McLaren and Mercedes. Russell, reflecting on the moment, shared, "I was tempted to go for a bit of a move at the restart." Piastri added his thoughts, recalling, "I was like, he's close enough if he really wants to go for it," to which Norris playfully questioned him, "Why didn't you? That would have been nice." It's these cheeky exchanges that not only entertain, but also build the camaraderie between drivers amidst fierce competition. In more technical news, Mercedes is still trying to uncover the mystery behind George Russell's DRS issues. Team principal Toto Wolff admitted that they remain in the dark regarding what went wrong. Meanwhile, Verstappen, known for being sharp-eyed, took the opportunity to keep an eye on Norris, snitching on him for an illegal move during the Bahrain GP. Nothing seems to escape the notice of the reigning champion. As for Russell, he faced the stewards after inadvertently opening his DRS outside of the designated zone, but fortunately, he avoided any penalties. And let's not forget Oscar Piastri's remarkable achievement at the Bahrain Grand Prix, where he led from pole to the checkered flag, showcasing not only his driving skill, but also the chaos that the Red Bull pit stops inspired among the field. With such a blend of playful rivalry and serious racing action, it's safe to say the 2025 F1 season is already delivering thrilling entertainment and unforgettable moments. Carlos Sainz recently shared his frustration following a dramatic race in Bahrain, where he found himself sidelined due to a collision with Yuki Tsunoda. After the incident, Sainz pointed out that Tsunoda's lack of control ultimately cost him his race. The clash occurred late in the race when both drivers were vying for position. Sainz was left nursing a significant hole in his right side pod, forcing him to retire and ending his hopes for a strong finish. Reflecting on the incident, Sainz noted that his promising performance during qualifying took a turn for the worse as the race progressed. By the time the collision happened, he was already slipping down the order, and the collision with Tsunoda effectively crushed any chance of scoring points. In his own words, Sainz explained, "He did lose the car fighting with me, and that cost me the race." Although he felt the collision was primarily due to Tsunoda's error, he's aware that such incidents can be subjective. "When I look at the onboard, it is kind of a racing incident," he admitted, acknowledging the fine line that often exists in high-pressure situations on the track. Sainz expressed sympathy for Tsunoda, suggesting that if he were in the same position, he would likely feel the same urge to avoid penalties. "It's a tough one. This time, it cost me. I got the wrong side of the coin, and it is what it is," he said, showcasing both his frustration and understanding of the sport's competitive nature. However, it wasn't just Tsunoda he had to contend with. Sainz also received a 10-second penalty for a separate incident involving Kimi Antonelli, where he forced Antonelli off the track. While this penalty typically would have been a cause for concern, Sainz was remarkably nonchalant about it, knowing he was already set to retire from the race. He described the situation as a heat-of-the-moment action following the safety car restart. "With cold, hard tires and no downforce, it became tricky," he explained. Sainz locked up and went wide, trying to manage the situation by allowing his teammate to pass, which ultimately led to the penalty. The Bahrain race was a roller coaster for Sainz, one filled with highs and lows, ultimately leading to an early exit. Despite the challenges he faced, Sainz remains focused on learning from the experience as he looks ahead to the next challenge on the track. As the Bahrain Grand Prix unfolds, George Russell reflects positively on his performance, emphasizing a good qualifying round and a strong start. He mentions the impressive pace of the car while noting the fierce competition he faced. Max Verstappen, however, had a different experience, pointing out that everything went wrong for him during the race. He struggled to keep up with the top teams and felt the presence of Alpine drivers pressing hard against him. Verstappen states, "We were just not quite quick enough," indicating a need for improvement, while expressing hope that better weekends lie ahead as the team learns and adapts. The discussion shifts to the Red Bull pit stops, where fans are curious about the team's slower than usual performance. Reports suggest a systems failure caused these lengthy stops, catching the team off guard. This led to speculation about how such issues could affect their overall championship ambitions. Carlos Sainz, driving for Ferrari, finds himself in a challenging position with only 1 point scored heading into this race weekend. Team principal James Vowles defends Sainz, suggesting they are getting more than they paid for despite the setbacks. It's an acknowledgement that the season is long and there's still room for improvement. On the other hand, Yuki Tsunoda also steps into the spotlight, sharing intriguing insights about the progress at Red Bull and his teammate, Verstappen. His revelations hint at a tightly knit team striving for success, even amid the challenges they face. Meanwhile, Red Bull's performance during the practice sessions raised eyebrows as they struggled with tire temperatures, leading to comments that they were too slow. This anomaly highlights the unpredictability of F1 races, where minor issues can snowball into significant setbacks on race day. As the dust settles, fans eagerly await the next race, hoping for a more coherent performance from all teams. With the world of F1 continuously evolving, every race is an opportunity for redemption, improvement, and ultimately securing those crucial points in the championship standings.